Friends and distinguished guests, China and Africa account for 1/3 of the world population. We will replenish the China World Bank Group Partnership Facility to boost Africa's development. Let us rally the more than 2.8 billion Chinese and African people into a powerful force on our shared path toward modernization, and write a new magnificent chapter of development in human history.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's good to see you today on the Speak and See Show. I ask that you like and subscribe and click that notification button so when we get information out, you can get information in. I hate it. I hate it when I'm called a conspiracy theorist. I like being called a things aren't adding up and it's pretty dang obvious theorist. You know? And then they call you conspiracy theorist, but 6 months later, they say, oh, he was right. Ruto's meeting with America and Ruto's meeting with China. China was a meeting. Ruto's meeting at America was a party. One was for just having fun and taking out loans on the back of the Kenyan people and the African citizens. And in China, President Xi was all business. So the important and obvious things to look for in what happened in China are literally, you don't need the media to tell you. You need to hear it for yourself, which is what we're going to do now. We're going to listen to Xi's complete and full speech from front to back, and I cut it off instead of it being a half an hour because half of the time he's talking, he's pausing and flipping to the next page. We cut that out for you, and now he's just talking straight through, and it won't be wasting your time. So you'll get to hear it, you'll get to make your own opinions, because I think you're all pretty darn smart. I don't think the media outlets out there give the people enough credit to make up their own minds on things. So I'm going to let you hear this, President Xi's speech at the African Summit, and let me know what you think. So ladies and gentlemen, now is the time of the video where you just grab a drink. Of course, you click that like button, of course, right? Subscribe, and let's watch this together. Leave comments below, please.
And that the overall characterization of China-Africa relations be elevated to an all-weather China-Africa community with a shared future for the new era. Friends and distinguished guests, modernization is an inalienable right of all countries. But the Western approach to it has inflicted immense sufferance on developing countries. Since the end of World War II, third world nations represented by China and African countries have achieved independence and development one after another, and have been endeavoring to redress the historical injustices of the modernization process. As we are about to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the People's Republic of China, we are going all out to build a great modern socialist country in all respects and pursue national rejuvenation through a Chinese path to modernization. Africa is also awakening again, and the continent is marching in solid strides toward the modernization goals set forth in the AU's Agenda 2063. China and Africa's joint pursuit of modernization will set off a wave of modernization in the global south and open a new chapter in our drive for a community with a shared future for mankind. We should jointly advance modernization that is just and equitable. In promoting modernization, we should not only follow the general rules but also act in light of our national realities. China is ready to increase exchanges of governance experience with Africa, support all countries in exploring modernization paths befitting their national conditions, and help ensure equal rights and equal opportunities for all countries. We should jointly advance modernization that is open and win-win. Mutually beneficial cooperation is the sunny road to the betterment of the long-term and fundamental interests of all countries. China is ready to deepen cooperation with Africa in industry, agriculture, infrastructure, trade and investment, promote exemplary, high-quality belt and road cooperation projects, and build together a model for the delivery of the Global Development Initiative. We should jointly advance modernization that puts the people first. The ultimate goal of modernization is the free and full development of human beings. China will work vigorously with Africa to promote personnel training, poverty reduction and employment, enhance the sense of gain, happiness and security of the people in the of modernization, and ensure that all will benefit from the process. We should jointly advance modernization featuring diversity and inclusiveness. Well-balanced material and spiritual advancement is a lofty objective of modernization. China will enhance people-to-people and cultural exchanges with Africa, champion mutual respect, inclusiveness, and coexistence of different civilizations on our way to modernization, and strive together for more fruitful outcomes under the Global Civilization Initiative. We should jointly advance modernization that is eco-friendly. Green development is a hallmark of modernization in the new era. China is ready to help Africa build green growth engines. And the global economy. Narrow the gap in energy accessibility. Adhere to the principle of common but differentiated responsibilities. And jointly push for the global transition to green and low-carbon development. We should jointly advance modernization underpinned by peace and security. Modernization will not be possible without a peaceful and stable environment for development. China is ready to help Africa improve its capacity in safeguarding peace and stability independently, prioritize Africa in implementing the Global Security Initiative, promote mutual reinforcement of high-quality development and greater security, and work together with Africa to uphold world peace and stability. Friends and distinguished guests, China and Africa account for 1/3 of the world population. Without our modernization, there will be no global modernization. In the next 3 years, China will work with Africa to take the following 10 partnership actions for modernization to deepen China-Africa cooperation and spearhead the Global South modernization. First, the partnership action for mutual learning among civilizations. China is ready to work with Africa to build a platform for governance experience sharing, a China-Africa Knowledge Network for Development, and 25 centers on China and Africa studies. We will make better use of Africa's leadership academies to cultivate talents for governance and invite 1,000 members of African political parties to China to deepen exchanges of experience in party and state governance. Second, the partnership action for trade prosperity. China will voluntarily and unilaterally open its market wider. We have decided to give all LDCs having diplomatic relations with China, including 33 countries in Africa, a zero-tariff treatment for 100% tariff lines. This has made China the first major developing country and the first major economy to take such a step. It will help turn China's big market into Africa's big opportunity. China will expand market access for African agricultural products, deepen cooperation with Africa in e-commerce and other areas, and launch a China-Africa Quality Enhancement Program. We are prepared to enter into framework agreements on economic partnership for shared development with African countries to provide long-term stable and predictable institutional guarantee for trade and investment between the two sides. For industrial chain cooperation. China will foster industry cooperation growth clusters with Africa and launch an African SMEs Empowerment Program. We will build with Africa a digital technology cooperation center and initiate 20 digital demonstration projects so as to embrace together the latest round of technological revolution and industrial transformation. Fourth, the partnership action for connectivity. China is prepared to carry out 30 infrastructure connectivity projects in Africa, promote together high-quality belt and road cooperation, and put in place a China-Africa network featuring land-sea links and coordinated development. We are ready to assist in the development of the African Continental Free Trade Area and deepen logistics and financial cooperation for the benefit of trans-regional development in Africa. China is ready to release the joint statement on deepening cooperation within the framework of the Global Development Initiative with Africa and implement 1,000 small and beautiful livelihood projects. We will replenish the China World Bank Group Partnership Facility to boost Africa's development. We support Africa in hosting the 2026 Youth Olympic Games and the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations. We will work together with Africa to deliver more fruits of development to the two peoples. Sixth, the partnership action for health. China is ready to establish with Africa a hospitals alliance and joint medical centers. We will send 2,000 medical personnel to Africa and launch 20 programs of health facilities and malaria treatment. We will encourage Chinese companies to invest in Africa's pharmaceutical production and continue to do what we can to help Africa with epidemic response. We support the development of the Africa Centers of Disease Control and Prevention to strengthen and public health capacity in all African countries. Seventh, the partnership action for agriculture and livelihoods. China will provide Africa with 1 billion yuan, or about $140 million in emergency food assistance, build about 670 hectares of standardized agriculture demonstration areas in Africa, send 500 agricultural experts, and establish a China-Africa Agricultural Science and Technology Innovation Alliance. We will implement 500 programs in Africa to promote community welfare. We will also encourage two-way investment for new business operations by Chinese and African companies, enable Africa to retain added value, and create at least 1 million jobs for Africa. China and Africa. The Partnership Action for People-to-People Exchanges. China will implement with Africa more solidly the Future of Africa Vocational Education Cooperation Plan, establish together an engineering technology academy, and build 10 Lubang workshops. We will provide 60,000 training opportunities to Africa, mainly for women and youth. We will launch with Africa a cultural Silk Road program, as well as an initiative of cooperation on innovation in radio, TV, and audio and visual programs. But two sides have agreed to designate 2026 as the China-Africa Year of People-to-People Exchanges. The Partnership Action for Green Development. China is ready to launch 30 clean energy projects in Africa, put in place meteorological early warning systems, and carry out cooperation and disaster prevention, mitigation, and relief, as well as biodiversity conservation. We will create a China-Africa Forum on peaceful use of nuclear technology, establish together 30 joint laboratories, and collaborate on satellite remote sensing, and a lunar and deep space exploration. All this is designed to help with green development in Africa. 10th, the Partnership Action for Common Security. China is ready to build with Africa a partnership for implementing the Global Security Initiative and make it a fine example of GSI cooperation. We will give Africa 1 billion yuan or about $140 million US. Dollars of grants in military assistance, provide training for 6,000 military personnel and 1,000 police and law enforcement officers from Africa, and invite 500 young African military officers to visit China. The two sides will conduct joint military exercises, training and patrol, carry out an action for a mine-free Africa, and jointly ensure the safety of personnel and projects. To implement the 10 partnership actions, the Chinese government will provide 360 billion yuan, or about $50 billion, of financial support through the next 3 years. This breaks down into $210 billion, or about $29 billion of credit line, $80 billion, yuan, or about 11 billion US. Dollars of assistance in various forms, and at least 70 billion yuan, or about 10 billion US. Dollars of investment in Africa by Chinese companies. In addition, China will encourage and support Africa in issuing panda bonds in China to enhance our results-oriented cooperation in all areas. Friends and distinguished guests, the Communist Party of China held in July the successful third plenary session of its 20th Central Committee, laying out systematic plans for further deepening reform comprehensively to advance Chinese modernization. This will profoundly further transform China. It will also provide new opportunities and new driving forces for African countries and for our joint pursuit of modernization. As an African proverb goes, a friend is someone you share the path with. On the path to modernization, no one and no country should be left behind. Let us rally the more than 2.8 billion Chinese and African people into a powerful force on our shared path toward modernization. Promote modernization of the Global South with China-Africa modernization. And write a new magnificent chapter of development in human history. Let us join hands to bring about a bright future of peace, security, prosperity, and progress for our world. Thank you.
Okay, well, that was President Xi of China. Now, the notes that I took down, now yours might be different than mine. Of course, we have our own opinions on this. But it seems like they're on the same page as far as the world has been backtracked, literally set in a bad position because of the colonialism and the power grab that Europe has taken with this system that they ended up putting in place. I got that. Now, I heard President Xi say green development too many times, in my opinion. It's China's that's gonna be their moneymaker. That's where they're going to make a lot of their profits on. Is Africa going to be able to capitalize on that, or is that just going to be more, money coming in that you won't be seeing any kind of return on your investment there? Peaceful and stable environments. He mentioned that, and that basically means no protesting, no wars, no coups. Any of that goes on, then maybe we're probably not going to be able to loan out the money or give money in loans with a lower percentage. Because protesting and I mean, when you're loaning money to a peaceful country that seems stable, its interest will go lower. If there's no stability, then the risk is higher. Therefore, the interest will be higher. That's just how that works. Big government, to me, it seems like this is becoming is everywhere is the norm now. Big government, where the governments are taking over the power of what little power the people still have left. And that's what concerns me with this speech, is talking a lot about the communism and the socialism, which is it's all government, 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 where I think that more of the people should have the power in their hands to control their futures, and not the governments and the systems that the government wants to put in place, because, free enterprise is open to everybody. Buy and sell and trade goods. And the more you buy and sell, the more money you make. It depends on the person. Person with no drive is not going to make anything. Person with a lot of drive is going to make a lot. So I kind of like that system, because I think there are more people out there with great drive than there are less. So I don't know. Let me know what your opinion is on that. And now my big question is Africa getting a fair deal here? Because I saw that they were going to be putting a pipeline in Uganda, over by Uganda, going into Africa, that is going to be right next to the French pipeline. So are we just trading off here? Is China just doing what France was doing? Only it's China. Now it's new money, and from coming in, new investors coming in. But are they getting a better deal here? That's the question we need to know. They don't give us any numbers or interest rates or anything like that on it, and that's kind of important. Next thing I got is Africa. Okay, yeah. Africa here is in the driver's seat. Not Xi is kind of putting himself in the driver's seat, when the truth is Africa and its resources are in the driver's seat. But as far as the manufacturing goes, President Xi would have the driver's seat. But still, without the resources, there is no manufacturing. So why is he not talking about bringing manufacturing here, so that Africa can get their goods, manufacture it, and then send it, which then you're going to 10 times or quadruple your money on your investment there, instead of sending it over, just your goods over to Africa, but have them manufactured and ready to packaged up and ready to sell. That's where the money is. But the bigger money. So I just didn't hear him say nothing about manufacturing, and that kind of concerns me. 500 China programs in Africa. I get it, but in return, Africa is should want to put 500 African programs in China. This is where the playing field starts to go into more of China's favor, in my opinion. Remember, all of this is just my opinion. Let me know what yours are downstairs in the comments. Green development. I heard him say that again. It seems like the magic word for easy loans for governments to take. Oh, we're going to do this, and we're going to borrow it for green development. Therefore, the World Bank is going to say, sure, it's for the environment. Give them as much as they want, and we never have the data on that to show the return on your investment there. Where's the arrow meter that shows that the air is cleaner than it was yesterday? There's not. So that is my huge concern here, is will Africa go into debt for something that the people of Africa cannot see? I mean, bad weather, good weather, it's happened throughout history. I mean, the Ice Age, it's been that way, and there was no machines doing this back in when the dinosaurs were living, and they still got, trampled on because of that. But I think the more important thing here is the war. Nuclear war could go up, and all them trillions and trillions of dollars that you took for loans are just going to be wasted. Just if one bomb goes off. So I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. And the final thing I want to say is communism and socialism, which is Africa's main goal here, or China's main goal, to bring their socialist and communist system into Africa's world. Now, will they infiltrate and start putting not sanctions or tariffs among Africa, but will they start putting pressure on Africa to take their social agenda and their human rights agenda like the United States does? The United States is horrible with that. That's why a lot of Americans want to see President Trump win, because he's going to remove all the tariffs and the sanctions on Africa. We wanted to see President Trump do that so that Africa can get a clean slate and start moving their goods out back and forth to America again in just a convenient way so that everybody can, thrive and make money. But let me know what you think about that. I appreciate you all watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. And we're going to go over some of the African leaders' comments and see how they match up and line up with President Xi's. So please leave your comments down below and hit that button up there. What is it? The notification button. So that when we get this information out, you can get it in and you can be educated and fair-minded to make your own decisions on where Africa is going to go next in this and how it all affects you. I want to thank you all again for watching. God bless you. One love. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.